the doctrine, you can remember the doctrine, then your faith, you test it and your faith increases. When there is faith, you practice. Energy, you have the energy to practice. When you practice, you realize it. That is how the growth, the spiritual growth takes place, based on conditions. And these conditions, we have to understand what the sets of conditions that are necessary. It is only when we begin to understand conditionality, then we generate the right conditions for us to grow. So, 9:35. And I think that is enough for the time being. And if you have some questions now, you can ask. Is it wrong livelihood to work in a beer company, such as distributing crates of beer and producing beer? Oh, last night we told you about righteous livelihood, isn't it? Production and sale of intoxicants. Yes. You are responsible. You promote that, no? So when you work in a beer company, then you get staff price. And you also drink more. You buy Chinese New Year, you get extra. And this is how your associates also, who comes to you, naturally they know you are working there, you can get staff price, they come and, pester you, and you say, friend. So the drunkard is your friend. So this is how you begin to associate. Oh yes. Anyway, those working in beer factory, you have to be extra mindful, practice extra restraint if there's no choice. But as and when the opportunity comes, better to have more peaceful livelihoods, more righteous ones. Is gambling on a small scale, such as buying a 4-digit and lottery ticket, breaking the precept? There is no precept on gambling. You can gamble as much as possible. But the Buddha has mentioned in Sigalo Vada Sutta very clearly what are the effects of gambling. You know the effects of gambling? A gambler, when he wins, what happens? Now he plays small scale mahjong. He wins. He pong, amkong, and then he wins. What happened? The more he pong and the more he amkong, the more people get jealous of him. The more people get angry at him. You may get that money. You may win. The winner begets hate. People hate you. Yes. Then the loser, he grieves or lost wealth. Ayo, I shouldn't have gambled. He grieves. What else? There are more than that. Then his words, if he is a gambler, his words will not be trusted. In the court of laws, not trusted. And if you are unmarried, then watch out. It's very difficult to find partners. you may be able to go steady for a little while. But when the parents and the relatives come to know, they say, you know that person gambler. Finish. Huh? Spoiled. That is the law. That these are the consequences, the effects. Gambler. So, try to abstain. You wish one another Chinese New Year, on Chinese New Year occasion, you say, may you be what? Happy and prosperous New Year. How do people celebrate the Chinese New Year? How do they become happy? They drink and become stupid. Instead of happiness, they get stupid. One house, they drink. Another house, they drink. And eat. Then after that, go back home and vomit and sleep. Well, we have been celebrating that way. I did not celebrate that way, but not so bad. But I have observed how others celebrate. So usually Chinese New Year season, I give them one kind of thought. How to celebrate, how to really be happy. That is not the way to happiness and prosperity. If they don't gamble, that's the day they start gambling. Why is the Buddhist view of donating blood and eyes? What is the Buddhist view of donating blood and eyes to others? Very good. We encourage. No two words about these things. We all encourage you to give your eyes and what else? Eyes, blood, anything that you have, you can give to others. It is dana, parami. In the perfection of giving, we first practice the first level of giving to give material things. The second level, give something, bodily possession. And the highest level, even at the expense of one's life, one is prepared to risk one's own life for the welfare and happiness of others. That is how. You find in the Jataka stories how the Buddha, before he became all enlightened, he has practiced this in his previous births. In the CV Jataka, you find how the Buddha has given his eyes. CV Jataka. How he called upon, he was at that time, he was a king at that time by the name of CV. And he called upon his surgeon, remove this eye and give it to the blind to see. So there has been eye transplant before, long time ago. And not only that, his limbs also given. Today they talk about what you call advancement and this and that. 3,000 years ago there were records of transplants. You know that? Tissue transplant, organ transplants in China. Then, what is the proper Buddhist funeral? There is no proper Buddhist funeral. Because there is no such thing as Buddhist funeral. Buddhists got no funeral because now actually the funerals are being conducted according to certain tradition. And understanding Buddhists will try to simplify it as much as possible. If that person understands that there is rebirth has taken place, why be afraid of that body? And if a Buddhist really practices the teachings, he does his duties, he knows what his duties are towards his parents, towards relatives, friends. You should do your duties while they are alive. Feed them, give them good food when they are alive. When they are dead, why should you give them all kinds of dishes? They cannot eat. You cry and wail and mourn, they cannot hear you. Why do you cry? Why do you wail? Why do you mourn? Huh? Because, oh, you know, I am sad. I will cry and wail and mourn. But you wish, and then at the same time you call the monks and the priest and says, please pray so that, he can depart, he can be happy. If that person has attachment to you, he see you cry and hear you cry and wail and mourn, more he becomes sad. He cannot become happy. So don't cry, don't wail, don't mourn. Radiate your loving kindness. Do some good actions in that person's name. That is how. You make a firm determination from today onwards. I will not lie. Oh, and then you tell your departed relatives, this is what I promise, I won't lie. You try and practice that. Something worthwhile, something more useful than that. A Buddhist ceremony is a very simple ceremony. In fact, what they do is, at the cremation site or burial site, they just invite a monk. And then the monk goes there and just recite a few words. Not 1 hour, 2 hours. Some these people, they want 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, they say. A whole night they want. We go there and we just remind them. We recite these verses. Anicca vata sankhara upada vaya dhammino upajjitva nirujjanti tesang upasamo sukho. We recite in a way that is not very pleasing to them. Anicca vata sankhara, and make them happy. And now, the meaning is this. Anicca vata sankhara. Transient are all component things. All component things are subject to change. From birth to death, the life flux swings. Where there is birth, one day there must be death, sooner or later. Now immediately, if you understand the Dhamma, good Buddhists who understand this Dhamma, immediately this thought arises in the mind, anicca, change. The sorrow vanishes from your mind. Your tears immediately dry up. Oh, anicca, well, I have to die one day. Okay, he has gone, that's it. I also will die one day. Okay. Anicca. When these right thoughts arise in the mind, the thoughts of anicca arise in the mind, sorrow, grievances goes away. So, that Buddhist funeral should be a simple funeral. Don't employ people to cry and wail and mourn. That is a show of these things. There are some people who employ others to cry and wail. Yes. Understand Dhamma. Of course, you see, a Buddhist is one who has to tolerate things. You see, it is not an easy thing because people who hold certain views, so strong their views are, very difficult to give up. So if you are a good Buddhist, you should not go and fight with your brothers and sisters. No, you must be this way. No, Buddhist must be simple. No noise, no tong tong chen. And Now, if you have to have also for the peace and harmony of the family. There is already grievances. No need to quarrel, no need to fight over these things. They want to do it, let them do it. You keep quiet. If they agree, if you can make the decision, then your decision should be a simple, solemn one. Don't waste so much money. Use the money for good purposes, charitable causes. Then, Is it necessary to is it possible to renew to the world in order to break through the 12 links? I think renounce the world in order to break the 12 links. No. You first reduce the links. Reduce the avidya, reduce your craving, reduce these things. Then automatically you get off. You break the link. You get off. You don't first renounce. First, renouncing the world. Actually, we don't renounce the world. No? You think we renounce the world? Some people have this concept that, those monks, they have renounced the world. Who tell you we have renounced the world? We are still living in the world. We are still very much bound by the rules and regulations, the laws of the country. We are bound by that. We have renounced certain things. We have taken upon ourselves to renounce certain worldly pleasures, certain worldly ties. We have given up certain worldly ties. Not all of them. We cannot give up everything immediately. Until we come to that higher stage, then we cut off totally the worldly ties. But meantime, we give up certain worldly pleasures, give up certain worldly attachments. And we develop some other attachment, spiritual attachment to Dhamma, attachment to study, attachment to certain practice. But slowly, we give up the lesser happiness for greater happiness. Referring to the explanation of Buddhist funeral just now. Very quickly this question came up, Does it mean that the practice of paying respect to the departed relatives in the Chinese culture should be abolished? No. You can pay respects. That's nothing wrong. And of course, the way they pay respect. They say, kui, and then, tong, up, kui, up, this thing. That is the traditional aspect of this thing. Alright, if you want to pay respect, we don't say no, we don't say that should be abolished, you follow that tradition. But we tell you there is a nobler way of respecting the dead. How to respect the dead. You should do some good action, meritorious action. And then think, because you know that the dead, some people, they respect the dead by giving them all kinds of food, all kinds of clothing, and put the pearls in the mouth and all sorts of things. Now, you have to, no amount of food cannot eat already. You cannot be happy with that. You cry also, that person won't be happy. But if the person has attachment towards you, he thinks about you. And if you are doing some good things, good action, and thinking about that person, thinking of your departed relative, then that departed relative becomes happy. That is the way how you should respect. That is what we call the transference of merits, doing meritorious deeds in the name of your departed relative. And of course, sometimes to keep to certain family tradition, you have to do these things, you see. So don't give up everything. There are certain things. Of course, when they tell you all the superstitious practitioners, jump here, jump there. Okay. These things are not necessary if you really know these things. People are so afraid of the dead. If you have done your duties, live, fulfill your duties and obligations while they are alive. When they are dead, don't be afraid of them. At least have some confidence that they'll be born in heaven, not hell. Many of the Chinese think that their family, all, it's a very degrading thought, and insult also to their parents and their departed relatives. Always they think they are born in hell. And always they think they will be born as ghosts or devils and come and disturb them. Why can't you have that confidence that they will be born as some devas and help you and they will not come and torture you? So why do you have this fear in you? It is some religious people have, instilled this fear in their minds, you see. Or some people introduce this fear. Understand the Dhamma, you understand what birth and what death means. Then there is no fear. Of course, don't show disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Don't quarrel during that time. Be respectful. That is how you should observe. Now let us go away from the funeral. Then, how is the best way to celebrate Chinese New Year? To make the day happy and meaningful one. Oh, you know how we start? You should start. It is a Chinese tradition, it's a Buddhist tradition. Start with you go to temple, isn't it? Do you go to temple? Yes, you go to temple. Now, remember, those of you you have a family tradition to maintain. Going back for reunion dinner. Oh yes, this is a family tradition. Got exams or not? Can go back, Have to go back. Don't, This is a tradition to keep. Then, how to respect your elders. At least once a year, you go down before your knees and respect them. And without thinking of that ampao, no matter, first, respect that. And respect your elders. Thinking, in fact, you can say that anything done, if I have done anything wrong throughout this year, please forgive me. I will then make your aspiration there. I will turn to a new leaf. Why do you visit? This is a family tradition. Why do you visit your elders? The daughter-in-law go and visit mother-in-law and father-in-law and this and that. You visit your elders. Because throughout the year, you might have, there must have been some quarrel, some backbiting here and there. So you make up. On the New Year occasion, you make up. And you exchange gifts. Don't be so calculative and say, use your calculating machine and say, how much he gives me, one box of tat, how much it costs. And then, all right, I give back another these things, some eggs, that amount. And then that person also goes there and he counts, same lah. Next year no need to give lah, Actually, it is really the spirit of giving. When you give somebody, that means you go and present yourself there. That means that contact is there, understand? That link is there. The unity is there. This family tradition is for the purpose of keeping, to unite the family. Don't think that, we are modern already and one man visiting relatives and this and that, waste time only. Better go for holiday. And there are now many people now taking the opportunity. Chinese New Year means go for tour holiday. And this is where they cut off their roots. They cut off. And slowly, relatives and all that, no concern anymore. Now, they make their lives very lonely, alone. They say independent. They want independence. No. Keep the family tradition. And be generous also on that occasion, no? And you get good bonuses and this and that, you don't give your parents same amount. Give something, make them happy. That's the time for you to make others happy. And your aspirations, go to the temple, make firm aspirations. I will observe the precept. I will come every new moon, full moon and new moon and observe precepts. Good aspirations. Then you will grow. I heard someone say that karma is only created when one's mind is conscious. Is it implies that things caused by ignorance will not create karma? No. Ignorance, through ignorance, there arises unwholesome actions. If you are ignorant of it, it does not mean to say that you don't generate karma. But if you have done that action without intention you have done that action, then there is no karma. Ignorance is another thing. Ignorance and intention is another thing. A person may be ignorant. He does not know the law of karma. But he has intention. He does things intentionally. He has to face. Now you are ignorant of the traffic laws. But you see the red light, you still go on. You see the police don't give you a ticket. You say, oh, I am ignorant. I don't know. I didn't read that sign. They don't. That is no these things. They say belakang kira. You have. What's the meaning of suffering? If the being is reborn in a suffering world, because suffering, relating to suffering is not suffering. What is that? Suffering, relating to suffering is not suffering? What is the meaning of suffering? Oh, suffering means, what do you mean by suffering? This term suffering will give you the impression of pain and misery. But the word dukkha means more than pain, more than mere miseries. The real definition of the word dukkha is this. You find in the text. Jatipi dukkhang, jarapi dukkhang, vyadipi dukkhang, jarapi dukkhang, maranampi dukkhang, and so on. Birth, old age, sickness, death, association with the wise, with those whom you love, pleasant ones, and separation, or associating with those whom you don't like, quarrels, conflict, every time they are source of dukkha. Desiring for something and you don't get it. Yang pichang na labati tampi dukkha. Then panchupadana khanda dukkha. The 5 clinging aggregates of clinging, that is dukkha. There's a very deep meaning in that. Cannot explain tonight, that dukkha. When a person, cause of the end of the world. Since all of the lower planes of existence disintegrate, all the beings will be reborn in the Brahma Lokas. Won't these Brahma Lokas be overpopulated? Not so easy. I have to check up whether all the other planes also disintegrate when this world disintegrates. Where did you hear this thing? I must find out these things. Is selling cosmetic a wrong livelihood? Since cosmetic adorns or beautify a person and this creates ignorance. There is no mention, no? In the 5 unrighteous livelihood, cosmetics, not mentioned as unrighteous, you see. And people want to look beautiful, and there is nothing wrong. Only thing, There's a limit to it, no? And it is not considered as unrighteous livelihood. And no, it does not create ignorance. It tends to give some delusion though. To give a false look. But apart from that, there is no immoral actions involved, no? So it is not unrighteous, no? So go ahead if you want to sell the cosmetics. And is giving one's life higher or the giving of truth? Which comment? No. We say in the practice of parami, the highest is to be prepared to risk one's own life. But it is said that Sabbadanam Dhammadana Janati, the gift of the Dhamma excels all other gifts. If you can give, when you say gift of life, don't mean just commit suicide and the gift of Dhamma excels all gifts. If you give your life, you, at the most, you be come back again to this world. That is the practice of parami. When you give Dhamma,